In the previous example, I created this little animation of 4 frames for Grease Pencil. And what I wanted to do is go ahead and make sure that I'm on a particular layer here. I'm on the lines layer. And what I want to do is create a new material that's going to let me do thicker and stronger lines. So I'm going to create a new material here. I've gone down to the little red ball material layer here, and I'm going to click the plus sign and click the word new. And where it says material there, I'm just going to call this black lines. And under stroke type, it says line and solid, and then the base color is black. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to draw mode again. I'm on frame 1. And instead of the pencil tool, I want to use, let's say, the F ink pen tool. I'm going to choose the black lines material. I'm going to increase the radius and make sure the strength is at 1. And then what I'm going to do is sort of trace over these lines that I drew using my heavy black line. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm sort of finalizing my animation now. So I'm using my cursor and I'm drawing those lines. And let's see, I'm going to make the eye a little bit more. Oops, let's do that again. Okay. Nope. Nope. Basically, I'm just doing Control C. I'm sorry, Control Z if I don't like what I see. All right. So let's say that that's the shape that I want to start with. I'm going to go into sculpt mode and I'm going to sort of fine tune the shapes here. I'm going to go back and for my original solid stroke and lock that layer so that I'm not affecting the original pencil lines. So that way I can sort of match my pencil lines a little bit. And what I'm doing is just adjusting my strokes to line up better with my original drawing so that I've got now some nice bold lines, and those gray lines are sort of my draft or my sketch layer. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is go into the edit mode, select these lines, Control C, click anywhere, go to frame 3, and I'm going to do Control V and paste those lines in. And now I'm going to go into sculpt mode and just sort of edit this a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust the shape of these lines a little bit to get a little bit of animation. All right, now I'm going to go to frame 6 and I'll go ahead and draw new ones now. So I'm going to do the draw mode. And so by editing those lines a little bit, I'm able to save from drawing every single frame from scratch, right? I can use my my sketch mode here and draw on a layer on a keyframe if I want, or I can copy and paste from one spot to another until I get the shapes that I want. Okay, so there's frame 6, and now I'm going to go to frame 8, and looks like the mouth does a little bit more with the tongue and all, so I'm just going to open that up and trace over these one more time. And it's very easy to just use keeping my fingers on the Control Z so that I can undo in case I don't like what I've drawn. All right, so now I've got my 4 keyframes now, and I can turn off that solid stroke layer material, And so now I can see my animation play through just with my heavy lines. All right, so what I want to do is a little bit of fill. So I'll make sure my solid fill layer here is selected. I'll click on the color and I'll adjust the color for my fill layer. So I'm going to pick a little skin color here for my character. And then in the draw mode, I've got solid fill selected. I want to make sure that my layer is selected for fills. So over here on the right hand side under stroke, I'm going to make sure my fill layers is selected. That means that the fills are going to go below my my drawing here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pencil tool, solid fill, and I'm going to start drawing. And if I just draw really quickly, you can see what that looks like. So what I'm going to do is sort of trace around the object here. And you can see what it does is it starts to fill in as I go. And I'm just tracing around. And then when I get back to the beginning, I sort of let go, and that gives me a solid fill. Now I'm going to go into the sculpt mode, and I'm going to just sort of make sure that my black lines layer is locked. And I'm just going to adjust basically the fill so that it fills in, but doesn't go outside of those black lines there. Okay. Now I'll go to the edit mode, select that fill, copy, move my time frame down to frame 3, and then I'm going to do paste. Now I'll go back into sculpt mode, and what I'll do is I'll adjust the shape of that fill to fill the shape of those lines that I've got there. Looks pretty good. Right? If the onion skin gets in your way now, we could actually turn off the onion skins if we don't want to see those. Okay. So again, I'm going to go to edit mode. I'll select my my fill, copy, click anywhere, go to frame 6, and I'm going to paste that in. And you can see how it doesn't line up very well, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use my sculpt mode and sort of adjust my fill so that it lines up. And again, we may want to have onion skinning turned off. Yeah, looks good. All right, and now again, I'm going to paste in. Let's see if I can do this under edit mode. See if I can paste that in. All right, and then I'm going to go back in and adjust those. Now, keep in mind that as you're copying and pasting, you might be copying and pasting more than you intended. So let's make sure on layer 6 here, it looks like I've pasted more than just the fill. It looked like I pasted the line work too. So when I'm selecting something with my edit mode, let's make sure that I'm selecting just the thing that I want to select, not the line work, but I want to select just the fill. So how can I determine whether or not I'm getting the right selections here? Let's make sure that things are actually locked. So my black lines are locked. And in fact, I could probably even just turn off my lines briefly to make sure that that's the only thing I'm selecting. And then I'm going to copy. And now if I go to frame 6 and then I paste, it should only paste in just what I selected. Okay, so that's how you edit the fills from layer to layer. And I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. Okay, the last little cleanup here. I'm adjusting the sculpt mode for my last frame. And I've turned off my overlay, so it's just a little easier to see. That's this little setting up here. And what I'm adjusting is the sculpt mode, a radius for the push value. And I'm pushing and pulling on these little edges here to be able to get the sculpting to sort of level out and smooth out. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's say I want to go ahead and add in some eyes now. I would create a new layer for my eyes, create new, call it eyes. let's say eyes white, and I'm going to set this to be a fill with a white color. All right, so, and that's going to be on the fills layer. All right, so let's go into draw mode on frame 1. I've got, let's set our, instead of ink pen, let's go to back to F pen, and I'm going to set my strength to 1, my radius, let's see, that looks good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and draw in on the fills layer my white eyes. Okay, and what that does is goes in behind those black strokes, but it goes on top of my skin color because I'm drawing these after the skin color. Okay, to the next frame, drawing in the next one. Okay, next frame. And next frame. All right, so hopefully you can see that we can very easily create our own layers, lines or fills or even additional layers. We can set our own materials and set those materials to be locked or unlocked. And then we can draw on certain points in time and then create a two-dimensional animation from those points in time.